YouTube, how we doing, family? It's your boy Yo, and this is another episode of Yo Hoops. I go through every NBA game every day. Today's Wednesday, January 21st, and we have a 7-game NBA card. I'm gonna walk you through my thoughts and let you know what sides I like. So please leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and let me know your favorite game in the comment section below. Without further ado, let me get into today's recap. Recapping yesterday, I dropped my highlighted play of the day. I took the Denver Nuggets plus 2.5 points against the Los Angeles Lakers. I thought we looked good at halftime. The Nuggets led 71 to 57, a 14-point lead. The Lakers immediately started to cut into the deficit in the third to the point where they were only down a bucket going into the fourth. Jamal Murray and Peyton Watson started missing every shot. It was one of the more dramatic comebacks of the new year. The Lakers went from down 14 at halftime to winning the game by 8. Final score was 115 to 107 Lakers. I wasn't even too surprised considering the run I've been on. I'm just keeping my head down and staying locked in. If you want to fade me, do what you need to do, but I am confident I'll be back in that win column sooner than later. Without further ado, let me get into today's games. In our first matchup, we have the Cleveland Cavaliers in Charlotte taking on the Charlotte Hornets. Cavs are minus 150 on the money line, and the total is 235. These teams have played twice this season. Both were in Cleveland, and the series is tied 1-1. I can't forget that in the first meeting, the Hornets shut out the Cavs through an entire overtime, 0 points in 5 minutes. Tonight, they'll be without Darius Garland and Sam Merrill. Considering they're already the worst home team in the league against the spread, I'd grab the plus money with Charlotte. I'm taking the Hornets on the money line as my first selection of the evening. In our next matchup, we have the Brooklyn Nets in New York taking on the New York Knicks. Knicks are minus 600 on the money line, and the total is 220.5. This is going to be a fun one to watch. One of the first times in a while, I feel like the Nets have a legitimate chance to beat the Knicks. We've seen New York falling flat recently, even getting blown out by the Mavericks B team, and on the other side, the Nets are keeping games competitive. I'd lean to Brooklyn in terms of a side, but rather than taking a side, I'm looking at a prop. I'm taking Michael Porter Jr. to go over 23.5 points. He's averaging 25.7, shooting 40% from behind the arc, and you guys know he wants to show up the Knicks in Madison Square Garden. He's really been the talk of the town this season, and let's be real, the Knicks aren't playing a high level of defense right now. There's a good chance my guy goes for 30. I'm going to lock it in as my highlighted selection of the evening. In our next matchup, we have the Indiana Pacers in Boston taking on Boston Celtics. Celtics are minus 510 on the money line, and the total is 225.5. The Celtics are obviously playing the better basketball right now, but when I look back, the Pacers did win the last meeting between these two, 98 to 96. Jaylen Brown didn't play in that game, but he is on the injury report listed as probable with left hamstring tightness. Definitely not one I'm rushing to the window with, but if there's a chance Jaylen doesn't play and you're giving me 11 points in my back pocket, I have to take it. I'm taking the Pacers plus the 11 as my next selection of the evening. In our next matchup, we have the Atlanta Hawks in Memphis taking on Memphis Grizzlies. Grizzlies are minus 125 on the money line, and the total is 239.5. The Grizzlies are, of course, dealing with a handful of injuries, but I do like the fact that Ja, Triple J, and Cam Spencer are all playing. The Hawks will be decent once they sort out their point guard situation, but Dyson Daniels starting isn't going to cut it. Atlanta's now lost their last 4 in a row. We were really ahead of that. Now in Memphis, they're probably in for another long night. I'm taking the Grizzlies on the money line as my next selection of the evening. In our next matchup, we have the Detroit Pistons in New Orleans taking on the New Orleans Pelicans. Pistons are minus 400 on the money line, and the total is 231. There were stretches where we were able to cash with the Pelicans, but they're currently the worst team in the league with an overall record of 10-35. You compare that to the Pistons, who are the number 1 team in the East, sitting on a record of 31-10. I am seeing Cade Cunningham being downgraded to questionable with an illness, but watching their recent games, he's playing a bit more of a passive role anyways, so even if he doesn't play, they can still dominate this game. The Pels have won 1 of their last 5, and that was against the Nets. I see them getting their doors blown off tonight. I'm taking the Pistons laying the 9.5 as my next selection of the evening. In our next matchup, we have the Oklahoma City Thunder in Milwaukee taking on the Milwaukee Bucks. Thunder minus 400 on the money line, and the total is 227. Anytime this Thunder team loses a game outright, they typically follow that up with a dominant win streak. We saw them lose in Miami on Saturday. They followed that up with a 32-point ass kicking against the Cavs. I see them keeping the momentum rolling. Giannis is playing, and I wouldn't say OKC has a real answer for him, but Chet can at least get in front of him and send him to the free throw line a few times. Outside of Yanni, I don't trust the Bucks role players, especially against one of the more complete teams of all time. I'm taking the Thunder laying the 9.5 as my next selection of the evening. In our next matchup, we have the Toronto Raptors in Sacramento taking on the Sacramento Kings. Raptors are minus 220 on the money line, and the total is 226 and a half. Both teams come into this one on the second leg of back-to-backs. The Raptors travel from SF while the Kings remain at home. Definitely two opposite outcomes last night. The Raptors blew out the Warriors while the Kings got their doors blown off by the Heat. Both teams were able to conserve minutes, but looking through the box scores, a few of the Raptors starters played over 30. This is a spot where I have to draw the line. With RJ Barrett and Jakob Poeltl out, the Raptors are not winning every game. You can hope Emmanuel Quickley and Scotty Barnes both go for 30, but personally, I don't see it. I'm taking the Kings plus a 6 as my last and final selection. And that's going to conclude today's video. Thank you so much for tuning in, guys. 3 and 15 on all highlighted plays in January. The losing streak is almost impressive at this point. I am still 76 and 75 on every game played. Don't sleep on me. But like I said before, just keeping my head down and looking for that win streak. I appreciate the support so much. I do this every day for free, so please leave a like and subscribe to the channel. It's your boy, Yo. And until the next one, I'm going to catch y'all. Peace.